Hello, you guys. How you guys doing? I had another channeling for you guys. So, hopefully you guys have been doing all right. I know it's been like really, well, I don't know how it's been for you guys, but I've been really energetically just in and out. I've been moving, then I've been not moving. I've been drained, and I've been full of life. It's just been up and down, topsy-turvy, but it's been manageable. It's not to the point of complete disarray. It's not without hope, so I'll say it that way. So the message I got was, it's kind of, how do you say this? Because I have to be honest, right? Honesty is key. It's kind of a puzzle. It was kind of puzzling. Okay, so it was like, okay, of course it was another dream inside a dream. So the first, I'm going to tell you the way it was outlined. I was on the phone. Well, I heard the person on the phone. And it just was like, it's so hard. It's like hard for them. The person who may have interfered with your union, I'm going to say how I feel it. They may have interfered with your union or did anything. It's kind of hard for them to be honest. That's what I felt, because I was just laying there, but I could hear them on the phone saying, it's so hard, it's so hard. But I was wondering if they were still trying to be with the person. I didn't understand what they were saying, but it's like, it's hard for them to be honest about what they did to tamper with it, or what they did to lie on you, or what they said about you to make the masculine kind of go his own way, or betray you, or look at you sideways. You know, he might have looked at you sideways in a way if he wanted to, but of course there's always an influence. And this person knows they kind of had an influence, and I don't know if it was a guilty spell that they're under, to where they're like, man, it's hard for me to really tell her the truth, or it's hard for me to tell him that I was kind of wrong about her. It's like they're going through that whole guilt trip. It's within themselves. Now, who they were on the phone with, I have no idea. And I was like, God, I don't want to, hear this or understand this. They just was like, it's hard. And I was like, is she saying his I was like, oh, that was so ugly out there. I don't know, because I'm kind of weird like that. I was like, what's hard? Because let me know. What's hard while you on the phone with whoever you on the phone with, and who's hard or whatever. I'm so sorry. I want this to not come out ugly. Oh my God, so ugly. I was just like, what's hard? Because I do that sometimes. I just be like, what you mean hard? I mean, I want to say what you said. So this person is going through like a little guilty spell. A guilty conscience. They may be clearing their own karma, so they're like, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to really, why do I keep saying divulge that information? I just been using divulge a lot. Because I was talking to somebody and saying, maybe I shouldn't have divulged that information. I hope that is the correct way. You know how we use words, because, I mean, it's a big word, and then we don't know if we're using it in the correct way. But, they just didn't want to divulge that information. They going through this whole guilty spell or whatever. So, then, because I'm laying out on the floor, I assume I couldn't see myself. I just feel like I was on the floor. And I was like, God, I'm finna run and hide. That's my key to everything. It cures everything. I'm running and hiding. Because, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't like dealing with conflict and difficult situations that require my emotional strength. Because that is one of the places where I had to build myself. I had to build myself emotionally. Like mentally, I'm strong, I'm capable. But when it comes to emotions, just, leave me out of it unless we're dealing with, regular situations, just fun emotions. The other emotions that are deep, like, no, I could do love in a lighthearted way. I could do love in a deep, passionate, romantic way. Why do I always do this? I feel like I get on here and I talk about myself a lot. I could do that, but emotionally, it requires a lot of strength. And so that's something I'm learning throughout my own personal journey, because, I can get emotionally, vacant. I can get emotionally distant, emotionally unavailable. I'd be like, what emotions? I don't have emotions. I'm not a human being. I was thinking about that Kevin Gates song. I love that song, Imagine It. But he's talking about, I'm not a human being. And I came up with nothing, just imagine that. Yeah, it's just, I'm not a human being. I don't know what you mean. Emotions. I'm like, this is how humans feel. Like, I'm not going to discredit the humans because I am a humanitarian. So I'm not going to discredit humanity. But, I just grew up in a place where there were no emotions. And when I started learning about emotions, it was after I had went through a whole bunch of a whole bunch of nonsense. I was like, well, this is that emotion. This is what anger looks like. This is what it feels like. I was like, I didn't know. So it was like, I was angry. I didn't know what that was. I blacked out or something. I don't know. But anyway, long story short, keep going. So then I was spaced out, and so it switches to him. That guy. Sammy got a song called Baby I'm Him. I love that song so much. But, okay, so the children were playing, and he was just like, go sit down. And, talking to them as if he knew them. And then they did something very disrespectful. And he was like, I'm not about to whoop them. He was like, listen, this is what we're about to do. Just taking charge. And I was laying there like, who? And I knew the voice. I'm like, why is his voice in my... Because I'm still laying across the floor, presumably. I couldn't see my body in my position, but the way it was in my dream, I'm just laying there. And I'm about to say unconscious, girl, laying there spaced out, and I could hear her saying like, oh, it's so hard for me. And then it flips to him in the living room dealing with the children, and they did something and I wanted to get up, and Spirit was like, no, stay, let them do it, and so he said it to them in the nicest way. You guys are not about to do that. I'm going to whoop your, I'm going to whoop y'all ass if y'all don't, go sit down somewhere. And the way he did it was, when I was talking, I was like, wait, he did that with no emotions. Almost like for me, like sometimes when I'm disciplining my kids, I put myself in their shoes, or I put my emotions in. How you go back, because when I was young, I do stuff like that. I'd be like, y'all are not about to do that. Or if it's really, like, I get intense sometimes when I'm disciplining them, even if it's one-on-one, I'll be like, because I grew up, putting my emotions in, but he did it with like no emotions, and they hurt. It was like in that moment, like they like completely was like, yes sir, and it was the end of it. It was not like no long like, do you want me to get my belt? How sometimes you tell your children sit down and they act like they didn't hear you. Well, maybe you guys don't, but I know sometimes I'd be like, sit down, watch TV. You go from nice to acceptable to over the top. That's my way of doing it. You try the nice way, and then you're like, okay, we finna go get the belt. And so he did it with like no emotions, and I was like, what is this? I was like, okay, that's kind of good. Okay, I'll just lay here. And then so I could hear him on the phone, and I'm like, okay, so what is he on the phone talking about? And then I could hear different stuff coming in and out. And so it was like, did he just say something about me? And so I could hear Spirit saying, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for him to say something about you. You're looking for him to say something negative. Just be quiet and let him talk on the phone. And so he's talking on the phone, and all of a sudden I heard, she can't cook, she can't clean. I was like, oh no, that is my cue. I'm finna go in here. But I walked in there, and he was laying across the bed, comfortable. And like the scenery switched, like he wasn't in the living room. It was like he was laying across the bed, comfortable, talking on the phone. And it was like a girly phone, like a pink phone with something on it, like decorations. I'm like, first of all, whose phone? I was like, you talking on another person's phone. You know me. I'm like, whose phone is that? It's not your phone. This is in my head, though. I wasn't doing that a lot. I just sat there. And he stayed on the phone. And he wasn't disturbed. He didn't have an attitude. He wasn't like nothing. It was just normal. And so then he was like, I'll talk to you later. And he got off the phone. And we never discussed who was on the phone. I'm going to tell you exactly what we did. He like grabbed me, put me on top of him, and we, office, we did a soul swap. No, we didn't. We were fornicating. Let's just say soul swap. I don't know. We were fornicating. I was like, what is this? But, not a soul swap. Yeah, forgive me. But yeah. But it was like we fornicated, and it was really nice. It was passionate. It was slow. It was like really nice. And I just remember holding him really tight. And then it just, all of a sudden, it just went away. But I still wasn't awake. I still didn't wake up on my bed. So, it flipped to another scene, another person, And they were like, it was right here all along. I was trying to get your attention. It was like, I was like, what? It was like, I was trying to get your attention. I burped in your ear. I did a whole bunch of stuff to try to get your attention. I was like, what do you mean? I said, I must have been paying attention. It's like, yeah, you kind of spaced out. I was like, oh, I was spaced out. Either that or you weren't paying attention. I don't know. But I was like, what does all this mean? And the whole time they're talking to me, when they were talking to me, telling me that I was spaced out and I wasn't paying attention, I was spaced out then, because I was like, now what does this mean that she's talking about is too hard for her? And I was still trying to figure that out. And I'm like, well, what does it mean that he's saying who can't cook and who? Because I'm just like trying to figure out, there ain't no owls around here. I was like, what is this? But when I sat down and had the conversation, it was like Spirit was saying, you don't know like what he's going to say. You don't know who he's talking to. You don't know what's going on. He's just assuming. Or even if you know, you guys might know, you don't know what he's saying and you assume that he's talking about you. And after it was all over, said and done, he wasn't even talking about me. He was expressing something that like he experienced. I just felt like it was about me. For whatever reason, that's why Spirit was saying, don't do nothing, don't react. Just let him get through talking. But he was talking to, like, I don't want to say a grandmother. He was talking to, like, a family member. And the reason the phone was pink, it just happened to be my phone. And I didn't figure all this out. It was like it was my phone. And this is all coming to me now. It's your phone. Call grandmother to talk about some stuff. Or whoever, you know, if your masculine has a female friend, I don't know. You might not want that. I don't know, but... Well, not a friend, just a family member. Not a friend. We'll say a family member. That they talk to, telling them like the differences between the other person and maybe you, but not in a way that you might understand it. That's why you shouldn't try to, you really shouldn't, I don't want to say you shouldn't try. I don't know. Just take it as a lesson learned, because he has to still say how he feels and why certain situations didn't work out and why he wants to try with you and what's the advantages and disadvantages. He might have to explain that to certain family members or certain people, and this is the way that he's explaining it. I don't mean that person don't get along, or certain stuff about that person I don't get, or I don't feel comfortable around them. I can't really be myself, because even when he was talking to the children, it was like he knew them, and I didn't even know, you know, for me it was like I didn't know he was in there, because I'm still like coming out of the other vision where the young lady was like, it's so hard for me, it's so hard for me. I'm like, what's hard? You know, I'm still what did she say this hard? I said, why do you keep going? I don't know what's hard. Tell me what's hard about this situation, because I don't know. But it just was one of those experiences. And when I went in there, he stayed on the phone. He wasn't like afraid or nothing. And he just said, you know, I'll call you back, I'll talk to you later. And he just grabbed me. It's almost like after he's finishing divulging that information as to why it didn't work out with someone else, or why. And even though the reasons, it seems like the reasons that he's explaining to other people why he wants to try with you, or why he wants to get in touch with you, or why he wants to stay in touch with you, to them he's saying like little small stuff, because he doesn't want to be like, well, she understands me, we connect on a deeper level, where it's a spiritual thing, or where it's I can cry to her and feel okay, or I can laugh about anything. We can watch silly movies that I can. He's not going that far or that deeper too. He's saying like little small stuff as a way of not giving away too much of what he feel is peace to him. It's like a peace to him, like a safety to him. Not even, well, it's a feeling. Oh, well, it's a feeling that he can't describe. So it's like he's just, in a sense, just saying little small stuff that people would normally say. Like, oh, well, you know, I don't like, you know, we eat different type of foods or something. Or we don't cook the same well. He's saying like different small things that they can accept as true. Because the other things, if he were to really, maybe if he were to really say how he feel, they wouldn't accept that as true. They'd be like, are you sure that's how you feel? Or is that person, is she just making you feel that way? Is she telling you this? Or are you sure this is coming from you? Because, you know, in a relationship, it's two people. So people be like, how you know that person didn't just put that in your head? And so he's saying stuff that he knows they won't question, because you can't question that. Well, I can't be mad at you if she don't cook or clean. Or I can't be mad at you if you feel like, you know, being with her is boring. You know, just little simple stuff instead of going deep into it. But when I was laying, I was like, is he talking about outside for to get up and go, you know? I was like, because you know me. You do not have to be here with me. Like, I'm not a mean person, but if you feel like your time is done, hey, clock out. Clock out. Just clock out. I was just going to start telling people, like, clock out, please. I just said that. Clock out. Your time is done. Or if my time is done, I'm clocking out with you. Either way, we finna clock out. Or whatever. Because I just couldn't get it. So it was like he's just explaining it. And it was like, I don't know why I said grandmother. I don't know. Maybe. But it was a relative. And it was my phone. This just coming to me now. Spirit is telling me this as I'm telling you guys. Because I didn't know. I was sitting there like trying to figure it out. I don't know what it was. I was like, is he talking about me? Is it not talking? What is he talking about? I was like, because I know I could. Because, you know, you have to defend yourself. But I don't really defend myself all the time. I just be like, oh, well, I just go do my own thing. So that is what that channeling was about. He's trying to explain it to other people in a way that they can accept. Because everybody can't accept the truth when it's so heavy. Or they can't. Everybody's not on the same path. So they can't accept certain things. Point blank in the period, they're like, no, this is not acceptable, you know, and every family has their own ways of doing things. And sometimes if you go outside of that, they'll judge you, or they'll not like you, or they'll even disown you. Like, man, they'll be like, she's nothing. Or he's nobody. I mean, they probably wouldn't. And some of them don't disown you to people. They disown you to you. They'll tell other people, oh yeah, he's doing great. And then when they see you, like, why are you here? You know, so it's, you know, it's oxymoron. It's like, this is how it is sometimes. So I just, it was a nice channeling. I had another channeling too where the relative was trying to, some of you guys, like, the relatives might be trying to talk to you. Well, I think I said that. Well, they were trying to talk to him. They might be trying to talk to you. It's like some of his relatives understand you, and they kind of, I won't say they like you to make it like you guys could be friends. They understand you, and they get it. And they respect you in that manner of, maybe the way you did it probably was off-putting at first or turbulent, but they understand why. They understand the why of the situation. They may not understand how, like how is it meant for y'all to be together? Or how is it meant for y'all to do this whole spiritual? Or how can you guys just say this is right? But they understand why. They understand the levels of maybe affection or appreciation that you guys have for each other. And, oh yeah, you've kind of allowed some of the people in the family, well, I don't want to say some of the people, like it's numerous. You have affected at least one person in your masculine's family that you don't know, who completely understands and get it, and even it has caused them to grow and, what do you mean evaporate? Something's like evaporate. Cause them to grow and like let go of some of the things about themselves that they were maybe holding on to or not wanting to accept. Evaporation. Evaporation is a cycle. What does evaporate? Cause them to evaporate. Maybe letting go of the thing. I'm feeling like evaporation is like reducing it down to a lower size. Evaporation is when the cycle goes. I don't know what that means. It causes them to evaporate. Like come over into a new cycle, a new phase of their life to where they can fully like let their hair down and fully be themselves without anything else. So at least one person was affected by you. So that's brave. Maybe more. Did I say that's brave? What is that even? I don't know. That's a brave gesture of them and you. It's like an understanding that only you guys know. So that's a beautiful way to express that. But nevertheless, it was just saying this is whoever was intentionally trying to block it or intentionally maybe a threat to you or maybe even trying to threaten him, keep it under wraps, whatever they did. Like they're going through a guilty spell and like a a cycle of releasing it, but they're like saying it's hard to release, or it's hard to tell you the truth, or hard to tell him the truth, or even hard to tell people around them what they actually did. Because, you know, as all this is going on, everybody's going through their own releases, and they have to be honest about things that they were holding on to, or things that they did, and being apologetic, because it's the spirit's call to like order, to get just more peace and pleasure in the land. What land? I don't know. In the promised land, girl. In the land, just in society as a whole. So for a lot of people, this person is saying that it's hard. It's like they want to, you know, set you guys free. They want to stop blocking you guys, or they want to stop, you know, and let you guys know what they did. But they're just saying it's hard to, maybe because they feel accessible after that. They have to feel vulnerable, and that's on them. That's on them. That's on them. You know, but I just wanted you guys to know that. And he's like telling them different things, which is okay. And it just seems like he was comfortable. He was just comfortable. He's like, I'm comfortable. I can say it. But